The Adventures of Chip the Dog. Chip the dog was very happy that it was nearly Christmas. There would be presents and delicious food and a long sleep on Katy's lap. He was so excited he chased his tail round and round. "Silly Chip," said Katy, opening the back door. "Have a run in the garden and calm down." Chip loved the garden. It was nice and muddy, and there were crunchy, colourful leaves on the ground. And who was that on the fence? Tiddles the cat. Chip gave a yelp and charged. Tiddles panicked and fell off the fence. Chip leapt across to the bottom of the garden. Surely the cheeky chap was hiding there somewhere. He crouched low and looked around. The garden was quiet, still, peaceful. Then suddenly, with a streak of ginger fur, Tiddles ran out from behind the shed, across the garden, through the bushes and into the woods beyond. Chip chased with determination, but Tiddles shot up a tree out of reach. Chip couldn't climb trees. That was annoying, but he did love to run. He lolloped down the hill, he bounded into the valley, and as the sun set, he trotted through the village. Suddenly, Chip felt very chilly. His handsome coat was covered in twigs and leaves, and as he looked around, he realized he was far from home. There were small stone cottages on either side of the street, but he couldn't see any humans at all. Chip gave a sad bark. Moo! He might never see Katy again, or his extra-large Christmas bone. He walked down the street dolefully, tail between his legs. Then he caught a delicious smell. Freshly baked cupcakes. And where there were cupcakes, there were humans. Chip staggered into the cocoa cafe and collapsed by the fire. The customers turned and stared. A mystery dog. Mr. Hurry-Up, the headmaster, said, "Who is this?" Mrs. Sherbet the Lollipop Lady said, "Goodness gracious me." And Mr. Sawpaw the vet said, "Let's see if you're chipped." He patted Chip reassuringly and gently picked him up off the floor. He carried him down the road and fumbled with his keys as he opened the door of Sawpaw and Greengill's vets. "Don't worry, young man, this won't hurt at all," he said, as he used his scanner to see if Chip had a microchip. Sure enough, he was chipped. Chip's details popped onto the computer screen. Name, Chip. Owner, Katy. Address, 3 Picket Lane. Mr. Sawpaw smiled. "We'll soon get you home, boy," he said. He settled Chip on a blanket in his car and drove off down the lane. At 3 Picket Lane, Katy was pacing back and forth. Her father had gone to look for Chip and made her stay indoors. Where could he be? Then a big blue car stopped outside her house. A strange man got out, and in his arms, yes, it was Chip! Katy ran through the front garden and buried her face in Chip's fur. "You silly old thing," she said. She was so glad she'd taken him to the vet to be chipped. It didn't hurt a bit, and it meant her darling dog was back home once more. Chip opened one eye, realized where he was, and yelped with joy. He was home at last, and soon he'd be munching on the biggest bone you've ever seen. Katy's father came home, thanked Mr. Sawpaw, took off his boots and poured himself a festive sherry. "Thank goodness we got Chip chipped, and for free too." He raised his glass. "To Chip and his Chip." "To Chip and his Chip," everyone replied, and merriment filled the house once more. The end. #ChipMyDog. Get your dog chipped.